Welcome to Biztech's Personal Finance Show. Today we discuss digital currency trading platforms and the synergies with existing market players. Now, Tokenize Malaysia is a Malaysian Securities Commission-approved digital currency platform, which has received an investment recently from Kananga Investment Bank, which has just taken a 19% stake. Now, joining us to give us an overview of digital currency trading is Hong Chi Yu. He's the founder of Tokenize Malaysia. Now, thanks for coming on the show, Hong.
Yeah, my pleasure, Brian. A very good morning to everyone.
Now, Hong, give us an overview of Tokenize and your background.
Sure. So Tokenize actually founded back in late 2017, back in Singapore. Back then, I'm a Malaysian, born in JB, grew up in Penang, but have been in Singapore since I'm 18 years old. So I started my venture back then in late 2017 by building Tokenize. And from there, spin off 6 to 12 months later, we have been entered to different South Asian markets like Malaysia, Thailand, Vietnam, Indonesia, and most of the South Asia countries. And spinning forward to 2019, early 2019, regulations start to kick in, right, in Malaysia, and all the digital asset exchange business have to, comply to the regulations, and we are one of them, right? Go through the regulation motions, and very fortunate, we are one of the three. They are being chosen, and able to give a license to operate digital asset. Yeah, and that's where we are right now. As one of the three DEXs in Malaysia. And a bit brief introduction about myself. I graduate in Nanyang Technological University as a electrical and electronic engineering graduate with a major in Infocom. So upon graduations, I'm all around in the IT line, start from consulting background to solution architect, and eventually enter a startup arena, a fintech arena, as a coder for a robot advisory firm before I started my digital asset exchange. Yeah.
Okay, one of the key things is being a regulated platform is crucial. Why is that?
I think digital asset is a very high risk business, right? And most of the jurisdictions or most of the regulators regimes, they are trying to look into this and how to regulate it. By regulate it means that they're endorsing these innovations, right? And they see this as a long-term growth kind of ecosystem, right? So by putting ourselves and by position ourselves as a regulated exchange means that we are working together with jurisdictions or regimes, regulators for a long run, and for a more sustainable growth, rather than we are a short-term players that just come into the society and make a quick bucks, and we don't really care where we are for the next 5 to 10 years.
Especially Hong in Malaysia, where there's so many of these investment scams, whether it's gold trading or whether it is Macau trading scam. There's a lot of these scams. So I think that is, one of the key things we as a show, as Biztech, always advocate that you only use licensed trading platforms.
Yeah, I just want to say that I totally agree with your statement. Which I'm personally, as a Malaysian, I'm very impressed with where Malaysia regulators heading to with this kind of speed, right? If you take a step back and see the South Asia ecosystem, or the region, Malaysia is one of the pioneers that kickstart and enforcing the digital asset regulations at one of the earliest countries. So yeah, I think that's why it's very important, because of Malaysia has this risk that poise to all this scam, and by putting right positioning in the digital asset, it will help a lot of retail to fall into all these scam, and also all these potential fraud.
Now, Hong, I want to ask you, who are the typical customers or traders that trade on your platform? What is the age group, demographic, and so forth, income levels?
Yeah, Brian, I think that's very interesting questions. When we started, I think the age group we are looking is the millennials, right? Like age around 24 to 35 kind of age range, right? But things has changed quite I would say 180 degrees since last year when the COVID started to hit most of the countries, and especially Malaysia. We start to see more sophisticated investors from the equities market, like from the 35 to 50 age group, they are start to enter the crypto space, or so-called the digital asset arena, right? And I think we see more wide range of the retail investor right now.
Now, what sort of numbers do you have in terms of customers?
Yeah, so we are hedging. We are, we just 6 months after we go live, or we get our full approval by the Securities Commission Malaysia, we already hitting 5-digit. Like we have more than 10,000 clients, and okay. From there, I think we have flipped around 4 to 5 times of our user base.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so that's very substantial growth. Now, have you noticed that in the last 12 months in particular, as you said, you've had this explosive growth of customers, because more people are trading not only cryptocurrency but also equities as well. Yep. Has their risk appetite increased?
I think this is very related to the macroeconomy, outlook, right? We all understand that last year, after the COVID strike, how the US has, so-called rescue the economies by the quantitative easing, printing more dollars and sending to their citizens' hands, right? And I think this is not just affecting US, it's a wide impact, wide range impact to most of the countries. This is why, even the retail investor in Malaysia, they have to, right, because to cope with the low interest rate at the banks, right, they have to take more aggressive approach to see how they can deploy their investment fund to different asset class. And I think cryptocurrency or digital asset last year is very interesting, with more acknowledgement for like billionaires, influencers like Elon Musk, and also most of the listed company like MicroStrategy, Square have come into invest heavily in terms of $1 billion into digital asset like Bitcoin. I think this create a very different mindset and also educations to the retail investor. Now, I think they are taking more positive approach and more open-minded in terms of taking more aggressive stance in all this innovation investment.
Now, Hong, which are the most popular digital assets among investors on your platform?
Yeah, I think digital asset for the kickstart definitely is a Bitcoin. Right? Bitcoin is like the first product all the digital asset investor will come and invest. But if you talk about these 3 months kind of outlook, I think Ethereum is started to getting more popular, right? Even the Wall Street investor, I think they also start to change their investment focus from Bitcoin to Ethereum, where they realize that Ethereum has a lot of utilities and also a potential moving forward.
Okay. Now, do you think it's better to invest in cryptocurrency coins itself as opposed to then investing in companies that have technology related to the trading of coins or using blockchain?
Yeah, that's I think it's very, very interesting. For US, I think if you are a fund structures, it's sometimes more on the mandate that you can't really invest into cryptocurrency directly. But as a retail investor, I think there is nothing to stop you to invest into digital asset directly. It's just that maybe there is a bit of learning curve there that you have to spend time to understand how to set up, let's say, and trading account in Tokenize, for example, and also how to buy your first Bitcoin and transfer to your personal wallet. There is definitely some learning curve there, which is more easier to see that, let's say, Tesla has associated themselves into Bitcoin, and then let's just invest in Tesla, which maybe is very easy for those who are in the equity markets, right? Or even MicroStrategies. Personally, I think, there's no right and wrong, right? It's more on what kind of approach that is more comfortable for the retail investor themselves. For example, Coinbase, one of the pioneer digital asset exchange in US, has listed in 14th of April this year. So if putting money into the company itself is much more easier to own a Bitcoin, I don't think there's anything wrong to access your investment through digital asset concept or associations from there. But personally, I think the alpha for the Bitcoin itself or the digital asset itself definitely, I think, will be higher, right? Because the volatilities and also the upside will come first to the digital asset the asset itself compared to the company. The company normally there will be a bit of lagging performance. Normally, let's say the price has go up 3 to 4 times, then only the investor will price into the share from there onward. So that's just my perspective.
And Hong, you brought up a very good point, volatility.
Yeah.
Cryptocurrencies have always been volatile, but especially in the last few weeks, it has been extremely volatile. How would and swings of 5 to 10% per day are pretty normal. It's very different from equities.
Yeah.
How should one trade and invest in cryptocurrencies safely?
Understand. So I think it's a relations, right? It's a relative, it's a comparative, relative kind of a manner where if you have an asset class that is only deviate like 2 to 3% a day or a week, then you can put a much bigger chunk of the sizes of your investment amount, right? But when you have an investment asset that is varies like 20 to 30% easily a day or a week, then I think you can size it, right? Instead of putting 100% that you normally put in the equities investment or other asset class investment, now you can just put 10% of it, right? Or 5% of it. But you can, manage it in the same risk manner like your common investment.
Yeah, so basically do a portfolio, look at your portfolio and do an asset allocation strategy based on
exactly, Brian.
5 to 10%.
Yes, spot on, Brian. That's totally, what I'm trying to say. And yeah, I think that will work where you don't compromise on your risk, but at the same time, you enjoy the upside, right?
Now, the Securities Commission of Malaysia is just set up the requirements for offering of digital tokens to be carried out by initial exchange offering platform provider, which they're going to license very soon. Is Tokenize going to be applying for an IEO license or initial exchange offering license anytime soon?
I think we are contributing heavily to see how we can be part of the applicants. I mean, be part of the players in the IEO ecosystem. But just to be more direct and straightforward, the Tokenize Technology, Sembilan Berhad, who is the DEX license operators, won't be applying, right? We won't be applying directly using the license entity, right? But we are playing. We want to play a more active role with some strategies partners out there to see how we can, be part of the IEO ecosystem also. Yeah.
Okay. Now you have been Kananga Investment Bank invested 19% in you in February. Walk us through some of the motivations on both sides to do this deal.
Yeah, so I think we have been talking for some times, right? When we get pre-approvals, I think Kananga Investment Bank, the KIBB, is very forward looking. In the investment arena, like from the Rakuten trade, they have a JV with Rakuten, and also on the Kananga itself, where I think they are one of the earlier players in Malaysia that talk about algo tradings, right? We have known their brandings and their positionings very early since we enter Malaysian market, that they are very forward-looking players. And I think they are, somehow some chance strike, and we are able to talk at quite early days to get to know each other. But nothing happened back then. Only last year we started talking more closely, and we see that more synergies happen between both sides. Where Kananga, they are very innovative players, and we as a digital asset ecosystem players, also one of the so-called early adopters to put the innovations to the Malaysia's roadmap, right? So I think that's where the synergies come, and we see that we can leverage on each other's to do something that very innovative and disruptive, and then they can bring a new products to the Malaysia landscape, right? Financial landscape. So I think that's how we start to kickstart and synergize, and I think that's where also it fall well into Kananga investment directions, where we are one of their investee portfolio.
So Hong, what do they value you at?
At this juncture, I'm still, not able to disclose, right? Yeah, but I think it's not so much on the valuations. I think it's more of the strategic values, where with this kind of synergy that we come together, we very easily already attract the next series of the funding, right? That the investors are willing to come into the 2 to 3 times more of the valuations that Kananga actually has on us.
Because Kananga has basically got that footprint there in terms of
yes. I think this kind of synergy is very bold and very daring, but it actually give a lot of confidence to the market that if this is there and the timing and everything is very, very spot on. There are more institutional players also want to come and see how they can be part of this, and we grow this not just in Malaysia but as a let's say South Asia regions, right, to be the next interesting kind of investment profile, or one of the exciting business to moving forward.
Which brings me to the question of Tokenize and your strategy. So you started off Singapore, you're in Malaysia. What's the strategy moving forward?
That's a very good question, Brian. I think when I started Tokenize back then, the landscape is very different, right? It's more on like there's not much platform out there, right? That the crypto investor or the digital investor can utilize. Most of the platform back then is in US or in Japan, right? They are the more first mover kind of countries, right? So it's a struggle if you are a crypto investor, digital investor in Malaysia or in Singapore or any other South Asia region. But fast forward 3 to 4 years now, I think there are a lot of platform and choices out there, right? The retail investors are not lack of choices, but they lack of a trust and secure platform, right? To have a platform that can be acknowledged by the regulators and can invest safely manners, where when they go to sleep, tomorrow they wake up, they don't need to worry that the platform owners or operators has run away. I think this is still very lacking, and it requires a lot of effort and also building to make this happen. I think Tokenize, where we want to be, is to be one of these players, not just in Malaysia, not just in Singapore, but in everywhere of the South Asia, where we can give a peace of mind to the retail investor out there to safely put their investment with us, right? And the next thing, of course, is always how we can be the next Grab, right? When you nowadays, when you want to take ride hailing, you will straight away use Grab, right? You think of Grab. Like there's not much education needed. And we hope one day when people want to invest digital asset, want to buy their first Bitcoin, they will think of Tokenize. I think this is where we want to be. Yeah.
So final question, Hong, can you share your advice for those who are thinking about trading cryptocurrencies and want to sign up with somebody? So what is your advice? How do they get signed up on Tokenize?
Yeah, sure. So you can actually just visit, right, tokenizemalaysia.com, right? From there, it's very straightforward. You can see a sign up at your top right of your web browser. Then just click it, and it's a very intuitive. You can just onboard, through from there. Everything is digitally, right?
All right, Hong, thank you very much for taking your time to be on the show.
No, my pleasure, Brian. Yeah, appreciate for today's sessions. Really enjoy it.
Now, we've been speaking to Hong Chi Yu, founder of Tokenize Malaysia, on Biztech, a personal finance show. I'm Brian Fernandez. Please check out our LinkedIn and Facebook sites, as well as our website, www.biztech.asia. Please subscribe and like our various platforms. Thank you very much for tuning in.